time, Albert. How do we draw the line between protection of national security and the protection of civil liberties, particularly the sanctity of my home? You've got no right to come into my home.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we're exploring a topic that's both alarming and incredibly important. The Trump administration's plan for a massive national citizen database. Let's start with a shocking excerpt from a recent Yahoo Finance article. Trump's $795 million data power play sends Palantir soaring 140%. But here's the hidden risk. Palantir is riding a wave of government contracts as the Trump administration ramps up efforts to centralize and analyze federal data. Since Trump signed an executive order in March calling for more inter-agency data sharing, Palantir has quietly become the go-to vendor for building that digital infrastructure. The company has landed more than $113 million in new and extended federal contracts since Trump took office, including a blockbuster $795 million deal with the Pentagon last week. Palantir's Foundry platform is already in use at Homeland Security and Health and Human Services, and engineers were recently embedded at the IRS to begin building a unified, searchable database for taxpayer records. Talks are also underway for a Social Security Administration and Department of Education, suggesting more agencies could follow. Investor enthusiasm hasn't lagged. Since Trump's re-election, Palantir shares have surged more than 140%, fueled by the prospect that the company may now become the digital backbone of the United States federal government. The Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, a must-led initiative, has been instrumental in the Palantir's rise, with several DOGE members having ties to Palantir or Peter Thiel-backed ventures. The company tools are now being used to connect data points ranging from immigration status and bank accounts to student loans and disability claims. In April, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, awarded Palantir a $30 million contract to track migrant movement in real time, another sign of how fast the government is scaling its use of Foundry. Still, not everyone's cheering inside the Palantir. Dissent is brewing. 13 former employees recently signed an open letter opposing the company's deepening role under Trump, citing risk of surveillance and overreach and reputational blowback. "This is a red line I won't redraw," said Brianna Catherine Martin, a departing strategist. Engineers have raised concerns about the aggregation of sensitive data, sloppy security practices from the government users. Palantir insists it acts purely as a data processor under client direction, but the scale and sensitivity of the work has sparked internal debates about how far is too far. Investors for now seem focused on the upside, but the longer-term consequences could be harder to quantify. So, this is truly like Edward Snowden's worst fear coming to life. But this time, it's not just about surveillance programs like PRISM or the NSA data collection initiatives. Picture a system that centralizes an unprecedented amount of personal information from every American citizen into a single, easily accessible database. This isn't some dystopian fiction. It's the reality of the Palantir National Citizens Database Project. The initiative, backed by the current administration, aims to compile personal data from various federal agencies into one massive searchable dossier for each citizen. We're talking about everything from your tax filings and student debts to your social security records, your bank accounts, your medical claims, and even your immigration status. All of this sensitive information, just a click away for dozens of government agencies. Think about the implications. AI platform like those built by Palantir, can pull together vast amounts of personal data, making information like your political donation, government benefits, movements, and even your firearm records accessible to anyone with clearance. This is an extraordinary threat to our liberty and privacy. Critics like Jason Bassler have warned that this database is unlike anything we've ever seen before. It centralized an unprecedented amount of personal information, creating a surveillance state that will make even the most authori- ugh, authoritarian regime envious of us. Sorry, I got a tongue twister there. Peter Thiel, co-founder of Palantir and a major Trump donor, has publicly stated his belief that freedom and democracy are not compatible. His vision of tech entrepreneurs steering the world without democratic control is chillingly close to becoming a reality with this database. This project undermines the trust between citizens and their government, posing an essential threat to our civil liberties. It's Snowden's nightmare on steroids, a surveillance state that goes beyond anything he revealed. We're not just talking about metadata here, we're talking about the deepest, most personal data of our lives being centralized and monitorized. And at this point, it just feels like we're leading more towards a social credit score system. So, what do we do to fight back? Well, encrypt everything. Use end-to-end encryption for all your communications. Apps like Signal, Session, Element, secret chats can help protect your messages from prying eyes with end-to-end encryption. De-Google your life as much as possible, as Google is the largest collector of data in the world. They probably have the largest database of people's personal information. Google services are convenient, but they come at the cost of your privacy. Switch to alternatives that respect privacy, such as DuckDuckGo, ProtonMail, TudoNotoMail, Nextcloud, LibreOffice instead of Google Doc Sheets and Slides, and use focused privacy-focused browsers like Brave or SearchXNG with proper configurations and add-ons. De-Google your phones. Consider switching to a privacy-respecting mobile operating system like Lineage OS or a Pine phone running a privacy-focused Linux distribution, or also Calyx or Graphene, which is a custom ROM for Android. Use PGP keys for communication, which stands for Pretty Good Privacy, which is a data encryption and decrypting computer program that provides cryptographic privacy and authentication for data communication. Learn to use it for secure emails and file transfers. And I cannot stress this as much, but rely less on banks. Banks track your spending habits and have extensive personal data on you. Consider using cash more often or explore decentralized finance known as DeFi. And these DeFi options, they give you more control over your money. Create businesses and use LLC for transactions. By conducting your financial activities through a limited liability company, you can add a layer of separation between your personal life and your financial transactions. Consider using a private LLC for even more privacy. Learn about P2P exchanges and networks. P2P stands for peer-to-peer exchange. And all these exchanges and networks allow you to trade directly with others without intermediaries. This can apply to everything from cryptocurrency exchanges to file sharing networks. Another um, piece of advice is advocate for change. Urge your representatives to immediately halt the Planetary National Citizens Database project, prioritize the protection of American citizens, privacy and civil liberties over the unchecked data collections and surveillance, reject any initiative that resembles surveillance initiatives in the authorization regime or as a social credit score system. U.S. citizens need to demand transparency and accountability, not a police state built on centralized dossiers of our personal lives. And most important, join the fight against this invasive project and help spread awareness. Our privacy and freedom depend on it. Together, we can resist this nightmare and reclaim our right to privacy. Well, that's it for all. I hope you enjoy the video today, and that information was very helpful. And everything I mentioned was nothing but advice. And if you want to see any videos on any of the things I mentioned, like P2P exchanges or PGP keys, leave a comment below. All right, stay ahead in a changing world.
Albert, how do we draw the line between protection of national security and the protection of civil liberties, particularly the sanctity of my home? You've got no right to come into my home